Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am creating another paint party sample, an adorable little hummingbird. I hope you'll enjoy the process here. I'm off on the colors a little bit because I really didn't go by any picture, but I just know that these hummingbirds come in a lot of different colors. So I make some changes along the way as I realized that the dark blue wings were a little unrealistic, but I thought that you might enjoy painting along with me or learning some of the techniques that I use when I'm creating a paint party painting. And maybe one day you'll join me for one of my paint parties. I am going to be doing them virtually, which I have mentioned here on the channel before, but I've been sick and things have gotten in the way, but I'm going to get that going, and it's a lot of fun. So anyway, enjoy watching this little bird get painted. Basically, I start with a rough sketch of a hummingbird and then put the background in, and I add to the background as I go, depending on the colors that I choose for the bird. I guess what I ended up painting was a ruby-throated hummingbird. The colors are still off for that, but there are so many different colored hummingbirds. It's amazing. They're beautiful little birds. I liked how the tail was looking at this point, but then later I add to it and it doesn't end up looking right to me, so I make a major adjustment. So stay tuned for that. The nice thing about acrylic paints is if you make a mistake, you can very easily fix those mistakes. During the paint party that we will be using this painting in, I will encourage all the participants to do the background color whatever way they want to match their decor at home. Here I'm adding the wing from the back side of the bird. I was going to just do the one and have the two mirroring each other and you couldn't see the other one, but then I thought it would be better just to add the second wing there. And the reason that I'm doing this little tutorial, I'm showing you the process that I do to create my paint party paintings. By the time that I'm ready to advertise them as a sample, we're to the point where it's ready for the party. And it's simple for folks to follow along and go home with a beautiful little masterpiece that they've created. And so all of the adjustments that I make along the way are adjustments that we won't be making during a paint party, because I've done the painting, I know how it's going to be done, and then I'll instruct as I go along, step by step, and we will already have a finished bird to go along with. Does that make sense? And I added the 2 feet, one on the back side, one on the front side, coming out here. This is going to be a fun paint party painting, everyone. And the nice thing about it is you can customize the colors whatever way you want. This is just being done on a 5x5 gallery wrapped canvas, but you can do that on a larger canvas if you'd like to. Now, you can see here where the tail feathers took a turn for the worse, and I didn't like it at all. So stay tuned for how I correct that blunder. The hummingbirds have a lot of little sparkly iridescent feathers, so when you're painting them you can just do this little dot motion with the lighter green over the darker green. And what the green mostly is that I'm using here is phthalo green. I love phthalo green, And then I go back with a little yellow and just add the little dots on there that give that little iridescent flavor to the painting. And a lot of paint party paintings are they're definitely not realism. You know, you have to have a painting that's just fun and easy to paint. So these feathers here are not very realistic looking, but they're fun. It's a fun art painting. It's not fine art, it's fun art. So I go around the edges with a little dark. Later on, you'll see how I change that up a little bit too. But like I said, by the time this is ready for painting at a paint party painting, all these corrections will be done. But isn't it fun to see the process? So when you're home, then you're painting just something out of your head. Play around with it until it turns out just right. Make the corrections. It's so much fun. It's relaxing. Just so much fun. I'm just adding a little titanium white to the feet to, bring out those little toes, I guess they call them. Or would they be called talons or claws? So I do my signature at the bottom of the painting on a little painting like this so it doesn't show up super bright on the front. And I usually put the initials on there, just RL for Robin Landau, instead of my full name on the front of the painting. So here I'm just adding some dark blue to this purple, just for that nice little iridescent flare. And it has a little titanium white mixed in with it as well. And for that shiny little iridescent look on the ruby throat, I just added a little titanium white in the red and just did the little dot brush strokes. I think it's looking really cute so far. Just adding a little more detail to the eye. And here's where I make the correction. I just chop those tail feathers right off. And see, it's as easy as that. And oftentimes when you're using these dark colors, you have to use a lot of titanium white in there to mute out the background, just to make sure you cover that up. But now I'm adding some new tail feathers, and I end up liking this a lot. And again, I'm using the titanium white mixed with phthalo green to just kind of cover up the old and create a new. So watch how this takes place. Here I'm erasing a little bit more of that tail, going in more at a curve rather than that straight line. And also, just as I go along, adding a little bit more to the background, pulling in some of the purples and some of the phthalo green into the background. I like the background to coordinate with the bird and not to clash at all, if you know what I mean. What do you think about this painting for a paint party? Do you like it? I think it's going to be a nice addition to my painting choices. I have quite a few choices to choose from, you all. And if you're local, I am mobile, but I am going to be doing the virtual paint parties for anyone that's, not local. Actually, for anyone for that matter, local or not. But the great thing about virtual paint parties is that you can visit with friends from all around the country, all around the world in some cases. Here I'm adding to that little area of the wing that stands out almost like a ribbed area. I'm not sure. I think it's where the more feathery feathers come from. It's more bony. I'm not sure though. And here I've got the yellow, and I'm mixing it with a little phthalo green, making that iridescent look at the top of the head. It looks so cute, doesn't it? When you get all those little dots in, I go under the eye with some dots, and it really helps the eye to stand out as well. And it looks so pretty. Hummingbirds are really fun to paint, you guys. I'm sitting outside so that the sound is good on my voiceover, and I'm noticing that there's some birds singing out there. I just noticed it. Can you hear them as I'm talking? I'm quiet for a minute and see if you can hear them. Now they stop just when I want you to hear them. But isn't this pretty with all that yellow on there? It looks so pretty. You can see how it gives that little iridescent look. And my blue paint does have a bit of a pearl essence sort of a look to it, so that gives a shimmery effect to the painting. This is the part of the painting that I find so fun and so relaxing. It's just, you just can express yourself in how much you want to put on there, how little you want to put on there, if you want to go very detailed or just very loosely detailed. But this is so much fun. So here I'm adding a little of the yellow to the tail feathers to add a bit more of that shimmer and shine, and then also to the beak, and that really helps it to stand out. So what I've done here is I made a glaze of watered down purple craft paint, and I am just washing it over the blue feathers, and it's turning it to a really pretty purple. So the nice thing about making a watered down glaze like this is it doesn't change the effect of any of the pattern that you've painted underneath. It just changes the tone of the color. Just be careful not to use too much paint, just enough. So now what adjustment does it need? I'm adding a little bit more red to the ruby throat in sort of the dot 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 fashion, and I add a little of a flower on the side so that there's something that this little bird is pollinating, I guess. Is that what they call it when they're the hummingbirds? Or they're drinking the nectar. That's what they're doing, drinking the sweet nectar. Anyway, so just painting a little bit of a flower on the side. I don't know what this flower is called. I should have checked that out for you. Maybe I'll put it in the description. But it's over there on my iPad. It's a flower I have growing in my yard. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll put a picture of it up here. I'll impose a picture so you can see this flower. So pretty. And I know that hummingbirds are attracted to red flowers, they say. And then I'm adding one here on the bottom as well. And I don't like how I had my initials there, so I'm just going to paint right over the initials and then make them smaller and more subtle. Hang in there with me because there's one more adjustment I make to this painting before I call it a complete paint party painting sample. and it's a pretty interesting adjustment, nice technique. Here we go. So what I do is I use a very watered down titanium white, and you may look at this and say, what in the world is she doing? Because it looks like I'm taking straight white and I'm going over the top of this bird, but it's not. All of this white will just fade right into the background, just leaving a light, bright effect. You'll see. So I dry my brush actually and just kind of feather that out. And as it dries, you'll see that it just brightened up the top of the head, and I'm adding it to the wings and different areas of the feathers. And you will see that it just really helps it to stand out, because my background got a little bit too close to the color of the bird and it blended in too much. This way it stands out brighter. So here I'm adding some of the bright watered down white to the back of the bird and his tail feathers to help them to stand out against that background. I'm going to be silent so you can hear the birds squawking. I think it's a crow. They do the funniest things. It's like they're saying no, like uh-uh, uh-uh, uh-uh. Here I'm adding a little bit of that glaze around, just around the eyeball there to help it to stand out. And doesn't it look cute? I like this little bird, and we're almost finished. And I will be sharing this on my social media as a paint party sample. What do you think? Do you like it? Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for upcoming tutorials.